And we are underway. And a very disappointing opening break from Dom Cooney. Straight in off the corner. Well, a little helping hand in off in the corner. We talk about the break a lot. As always, it's a big factor. And it was dangerously close. Little tickle. And in it goes. So it will be Cormac Kerr with the first opportunity here. Decent chance this. That yellow at the top's a little guarded. It does look like there's enough showing, so I'm not sure if he was hoping to be a little bit straighter and just be able to get out without touching the red, or whether he wants to just play into the red and punch it out the way. But looks to be in good shape. He tries to get out without touching the red, and he's eyeing up the yellow, so he must be on it. Just got the edge of it, which is all he needs. Drop it in, float back the gap, and should be in good position from there. Delighted to say I've got company. Tony Holgate joins me for this one. Tony, it's we were just chatting about the previous match. The brilliant drama throughout it, and brilliant clearance from Christophe Lambert, but wasn't able to get another opportunity, and brilliant stuff from Rob.
Yeah, that in off the break on the last frame there for Christophe did for him. I was just chatting to him outside the door. I didn't realise this match had started. Brilliant.
It's okay. It started very well as well. In off the break for Dom Cooney on this occasion, and very nicely put away from Cormac Kerr after a couple of down years. A few things going off the table as well, which hasn't helped as we all go through those sorts of things. For Cormac, he's a much younger player. I think he's 24 and second year as a professional, and he's already making waves. He's certainly a player that has shown us enough to think that he's more than capable of winning one of these events.
Yeah, very good player, Cormac Kerr. I think event 1 he got to the semi-final this season. And then ran into... I was going to say Tom. He didn't play Tom Cousins, did he?
It wasn't Tom, no. It was... I can't remember if it was John McAllister or...
It was John McAllister.
Yeah.
It was, because Phil Harrison won the other semi, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah, the winners of the Pro Series so far this year, John McAllister, Luke Gilbert, and then Tom Cousins last night. If you were with us, you'd have enjoyed seeing the number one put on a bit of a show, beating Sean Chipfield in the final. Into year 4 now with Ultimate Pool, and starting to sort of, notice the sort of the list of silverware, who's winning what, where people are. Tom Cousins is now by far and away ahead of anyone in the list of titles. It's quite amazing what he's achieving. He's just won back-to-back again. He won the British Open 2 weeks ago, Pro Series yesterday. The news we can give you is he will not be winning today. Already eliminated at the hands of Rob Warren.
Yeah, he just looked a little jaded in that game. I was fortunate enough to be on the comms for that, and stamina has to play a big part in these weekends when you're playing 2 events just simultaneously, and to keep winning and winning and winning and going back to your room, get changed, come back again, play, and and to keep playing at that level, it's got to be nigh on impossible, and he still put up a decent show. But I think that helped him with with his semi-final and the final yesterday, he did get beat. For event three's sake, and because he came back a new man in the evening yesterday.
Absolutely, I think especially the way that the schedule's set up, that the crossover between event 3 and 4, if you're deep in event 1, then you're playing, essentially you'll be playing your event, the second event of the weekend. If you're in the quarterfinals of the first event, you've got to play your first round of the other event, and it's that crossover period is where it can get really tricky for the players that are running deep. Disappointing miss there for Cormac, and he's handed a very good chance now to Tom. I say very good chance, actually. These yellows look really nice, but just wonder about that 8 ball. Does it have a home? Top right?
I think it will just creep past that red into there. Now, my experience of looking at this table from this angle, sometimes you think, well, that won't go in there, but I've been fooled a few times. I think the more concern is the yellow ball that's just adjacent to it. It'll go into the left-hand centre, but I don't think it really goes anywhere else, so he's going to have to get some decent position up there. Dom having a good look. He's going to have to pot this lower yellow first. He's going to try and take out this ball that's on the rail next. Very solid player, Don Cooney. And his very good friend Luke Gilbert has already won a series this season, and poor old Luke, he got knocked out of both events by Tom Cousins.
Yeah,
both 7-5.
Yeah, he's walked into a Tom Cousins shaped wall this weekend, playing some really good stuff as Luke as well, breaking really well, so tough for him, but he'll be back.
Well, Don was on the commentary with me last night for the final with Tom Cousins and Sean Chipperfield, and he says Luke Gilbert has the best break in the game, for his opinion. I don't know whether he said it because that's his buddy, but he has got a fantastic break.
I can fully get on board with it. It's an amazing break. It's certainly in the conversation. There's 3 or 4 of those I throw in there as well, and on any given day, really, but it is a fabulous weapon. I think someone like Dom can say that with a hint of jealousy as well. I think all players are looking for that real successful, consistent break, because all the players are so good in open play.
Well, he just wants to drift this cue ball through the gap of the 3 reds and the yellow and play the yellow into the same pocket as this one.
Is that okay, or has he just gone a shade too far?
I think he's a tad further than certainly what he would have liked, because he wanted a little just run this in and just park himself behind that black ball into the top right hand corner, but I have to power this across. Played it nicely.
Yeah, had to force it into the middle, not just roll it through because he was off angle, but played it well. Nicely done. Tom's first real opportunity in the match, and he made pretty light work of it. Very nice. I can tell you, Becky Watkins has just knocked out the former world champion Barbary Taylor 6 frames to 3 in her match, and on the other table, Marion Jude 6-3 up over Emma Cunningham. That's a little bit of a comeback from Emma as well. She was 5-0 down in that game, but looks like it could be going the world champion's way.
That women's final was a good final last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, dramatic, wasn't it? Really was. Worth mentioning that both Amy and Harriet, who did bat that out last night, are very much playing in Pro Series 4. Amy's already through to the quarterfinals. 2 wins she's had to go through this morning. Just beat Leanne Cragg 6 frames to 4, put herself into the quarterfinals. She'll play Mika Rooney. That'll be in a couple hours' time.
Very good player, Mika Rooney. I watched her play a bit yesterday when she was playing Marion Jude. Just fell short, but it was a tough old match for the young French girl.
Yeah. They really are good battles in the women's game. There's some brilliant matchups, and as I mentioned, Harriet, let's just update you that she's currently playing her last 32 match right now. Had to be held over because she was in the final. She's currently 4-2 up over Sharon Lunn, and the winner of that match will be playing on the TV tables against Kerry Griffiths just before 2 o'clock. As always here in Blackpool, plenty to enjoy and a lot to keep up with. Whilst we're running through all that, Dom's been going through this finish rather nicely.
That's a nice shot.
Yeah, perfect.
Lovely control there from Dom Cooney to bring that cue ball down the table through the gap of black and yellow, and just the simple stuff to do, and he'll get his nose in front.
Yeah, very nicely done. Looks sharp this morning, does Dom. And the world champion will be through. Disappointing if that happens for Emma Cunningham. Disappointing weekend, but she'll be back. She did win her first Women's Series title last time we were here in Blackpool. But it would be an early exit for her from both events, actually. I think at the last 16 stage in both for Emma.
Such a big potter, Emma Cunningham. Brilliant player. Been around for a while now. Girl from Northern Ireland. Obviously very established as one of the best. But Marion Jude, wow, what a player.
Oh, that's a disappointing sign for Cormac. He's missed a couple so far this morning and came right across that one, which is a really poor sign for him.
Yeah, there's a bit of movement on his cue there and all sorts. That's not a great shot by the young Irishman. If you have to make a choice between the two in these early exchanges, it's Cooney that looks the more settled.
He hasn't really made a mistake yet, has he? He's been very, very sharp. When you're out there, Tony, do you get the sense from the players? I mean, would some players miss? That happens, but that was such a jarring miss because of how wide he was and how much he came across it. From Cormac's position, he's got to be thinking about that, but also from Dom's, he must be looking at that thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I could be in a great position here. My opponent's not on it. Absolutely,
definitely. That would make me feel very happy if my opponent was throwing his arm about like that. But unfortunately for me, it tended to be me, but it was one throwing the arm about.
Yeah, I know it from Cormac's perspective very, very well. Dom doing the right things though, just playing containing Paul right now, trying to earn a better opportunity, and that's exactly what he's got.
Well, he's a very measured player, Dom Cooney, and he prides himself in selecting the correct shot at the correct time.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he's got a really good all-round game. You see so many players that just come out and they're all about, just I'm going to try and find a way to clear up every time I get to the table. Dom has the all-round game. He won't be happy with that shot though. Needed the little flick on the red. I don't know if you feel the same. I get it. I find it fascinating because we spend a lot of time with the players in the commentary box and off the commentary box as well. And when you're watching players, you don't know what they're thinking. You can only kind of guess from how they go about finishes. But when you hear them in the commentary box and you get their insights in the game, I feel like you get to know a little bit more about them as players as well.
Absolutely.
I think Dom sees the game in an incredible way.
I've pretty much been in comms now with, I think, all of them at some point. And their analysis and their understanding and thoughts on their opponents as well is really interesting.
Yeah, there's times when you think, why are they going this way? Why are they going that way? But sometimes they just can't quite get the cue ball where they want to, and they're thinking the same way that we're maybe talking about it, or the way that some of the people will analyse the game. But you can't quite match that up sometimes on the table. But when you get them in the box, they can really tell you exactly how they see the clearances.
I tend to, when I'm with them, is try and extract information about how they feel about their opponents.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That for
really
me, just,
interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
They don't know I'm sort of digging for that, but it is quite interesting. Just like how do you feel? If Rob Warren's playing or if Tom Cousins playing, how do you play him? And they do let bits out of there.
Are you a player that would play the player? I mean, I hear so many people talking about just playing. Is he going to get there? Yeah, no, that's a good shot as long as he's covered the one to the centre, which looks like he has. I hear so many people talking about just play the table, just play the balls, just play the table. I think playing the man's really important.
I think it was in the older rules. I don't think so much in this, because with international rules, you don't have that old two-shot carry malarkey, let's say.
Yeah.
So when I was playing, if you were playing something like Keith Brewer or one of the great tactical players of the game, I was thinking, well, there's no way I'm going to get drawn into any of that with him. Yeah. So I'm going to blast everything around the table. But then I did play attacking anyway. But these rules, I would never go and play the man at these, because I just want to get the balls open, get the job done, and get out of the arena. I just want to attack.
Just attack, yeah.
And I want to play fast. I want, or put my opponent straight in. So after a shot, if I can't get a finish, I'm going to play very quickly to put them back in. I don't want to go sit there and relax and look at the table. I want them back at the table again. Yeah. While the clock's running and all of that, and just keep them.
Would you have enjoyed playing in a match clock era? It added such a brilliant dynamic to the game.
Loved it. Yeah. Well, would have loved it. Yeah. I mean, I have loved, because I play interleague and I did play a little bit of county. When we play on the match clock, the 45 seconds at interleague now, and I don't mind the 15 seconds.
I just think that the match clock ticking down and sort of a frame like this has such a big bearing on a match. And it's not just this frame. It's obviously, look at the time it's eating up. I think we're into the 7th minute of this frame now. Yeah. It's a huge chunk of the match all of a sudden, and then it can change the dynamics at the back end.
Well, it made me giggle a little bit. We played. Who did we play? We played Newquay away, the first match of the season. Our interleague. I play for Bude. And it was the first match with the 45 seconds, and they're using quite a big tablet or a mobile phone with the 45 seconds. You've got to hold it in front of the players. And see these players playing it for the first time. They're galloping around and they've got 38 seconds left, and they think they've only got 2 seconds.
Well, I remember when we went from a minute to 45 seconds, and I thought, and I played with it in a tournament, and I loved it. I thought it was great, but I thought, I wouldn't want it to be any quicker.
No.
I was like, I think 45 is your limit, and then all of a sudden we're at 30, and I thought, that's a bit tough, and then we're at 15. So it's amazing how that shot clock's really reduced.
The shortest clock I ever played with, and this is going back to the 90s now, and we played in a 9-ball match for Team Ireland. We played in the World Team Billiards in Las Vegas, qualified to go over there, and that was 20 seconds a shot, but it was 9-ball. But it was. I played Ref and Reyes out there, which was a dream to play him. And I had him in I thought I played what I thought was a brilliant safety shot. And he went to his golf bag full of cues, came back with his tiny little cue, jumped over the 3-ball, potted the 1-ball, and ran the whole match out. I thought, well, that can't be allowed, can it? But what a gentleman he is, by the way, and what a fantastic player. But yeah, I did get to play him.
Yeah, I love those stories.
Yeah, that was 1993. I was only 5.
Yeah. I won't tell you how old I was.
No, I'm glad of that. Anyway, Cormac Kerr.
It's been a good battle, this, actually.
Yeah.
A couple of good loss of turns. I thought Cormac was starting to steal a march on it, but that's a good return, but may have forced Cormac into going. And he has gone, and unfortunately he's missed, and that should be the end of the frame. It was a bit of a gamble from Dom, but he put the pressure on. Cormac makes that. He'd expect to clear, but it was a tough pot.
Pretty solid stuff, though, from Cooney. Of course, the winner of this will have a date with the whacker, Rob Warren, in the semi-final later today. Another look at this dry break from Dom Cooney. Probably wishes he could borrow his friend Luke Gilbert's break for.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When he said it, he thought he had the best break in the world, which I think is a fair call. A hint of jealousy there as well, because and he'll admit that, because it's such a brilliant break. But Dom's a fantastic player. His break is not quite the same weapon, and it's what every player wants. I do love those replays though. The players studying the table as they're going around. Please. You're almost hearing for the rattle. When the rattle doesn't come, you're staring. Is there anything tracking?
It's the desolate look on the face when they know this is going in, and the despair. Look to the heavens.
I feel like this is a very important visit for Cormac. I know it's early in the match. It's only 3-1, and he's still a chance. If he goes 4-1 down, he can come back from there. But he's made some mistakes in going 3-1 down. A couple of really poor misses, and I think he could just really do with a finish just to get back on the front foot. Did he want to be a little bit lower so he could play the breakout?
Well, yeah, because lower would have been perfect, because you can break it out and he's always going to be on the red as well. That's just to the right of that. Might be able to force a little bit of the angle.
Just didn't have the ability to quite go into it with the pace required because of being a touch too straight on it. So an extra turn down the table would have made a world of difference there.
If he has a bit of angle, he could screw the cue ball back up through this gap and go on it up the rail. But the other option is to play through and...
I like your option. I think that's perfect, isn't it? Just to screw back top side of the... Top side, yeah. Yeah, he can nip this.
It seems to be he's looking over there for the other red.
Yeah. That's
a good shot, though. He's got the angle. He can, as long as he's not rolling straight into that middle bag with a cue ball. Ooh, might well be actually.
Yeah, that's the problem with the shot he's gone for there, was that his margin of error to have the pot was fine, but to have the angle to get on the last red was not so good. So decides to play into it, and that's no good.
Nope. Not today for that shot, Cormac.
If he plays your original shot, which was to screw back through that gap, which it looked like he had the angle to do so, and he lands, he's got so much more margin of error, and then it's dropping, and he's got the red that he's played to top left, to top right, and the 8 ball goes multiple places. So slightly surprised by his choice.
Yeah, I think it was percentage-wise that was the better option.
I mean, if it goes the way he went and he lands perfect, it's brilliant, because he rolls it through and the last ball down the cushion, hit the 8 ball, sat waiting, doesn't have to do anything, but he didn't have any margin.
Sometimes I think when you're at the table and you've got a plan set in your mind,
yeah,
and you find it hard to deviate away from it. I've played I've played a silly shot, and then let's say I've lost the game and I've walked away out the arena, and then somebody said, "Why didn't you play that one then?" And I went, "Do you know what? I never looked at it."
Yeah, yeah, you get sort of fixed on it. Yeah,
tunnel vision on the certain plan, and that was it. Refused to deviate away from it and paid a price. See Dom, can he get through to the yellow that's over the opposite middle pocket? If he can, he's got game up, and it looks like he must be able to. Doesn't want to land stuck to that red though.
Yeah, not the best of shots.
He could have played that firm. You know, he wasn't going anywhere. He's never going to do any damage or going off or put himself in trouble. I'd rather belted that red out of the way and put it up on the top rail somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, so he's either coming down the table or a plant to the left centre.
Yeah, if he hits it firm and knocks the red, because it's blocking the yellow into that top right-hand corner. Doesn't have to use that pocket, but he just knocks it completely out of the game at all. It's not even in the game. There, it's in the game.
I don't think players nowadays think about things like that anymore. Like, I always try and tell people that's a really good option, is get your opponent's last ball out the way on a cushion, gives you a little bit more freedom on your finishes and stuff. But I think players these days are, from Dom's perspective, is like, I'm just going to clear these up. I don't need to worry about where that red is.
Yeah. Also, if you stick it on the top rail and that, if you were to have some catastrophic miss, they're red safe.
Yeah, which is why I think it's a great idea, especially for the amateur level. Just really good idea.
He's not worrying Dom Cooney in the slightest.
Yeah, he's been so sharp this morning. I don't think he's missed a beat so far. Fully justified in going 4-1 up the way the game's gone. The mistakes have been from the Irishman so far. And 4-1.
Tasmanian devil, but in this half of the draw, yeah, I agree. But But then Rob's thinking the same as well. Rob's already
absolutely.
in the semis, and he's thinking, well,
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's right. I mean, Rob, you know, if you were, they'll never ever say it, but if they were, you know, you said you're in the semi-finals, would you rather play Cormac, Kerr, Dom Cooney, or, you know, Tom Cousins, you know, Chris Melling? I know what the answer would be privately, but I don't know what it would. It's not on air.
One thing I was impressed about is from the first quarter-final with Rob Warren, and I mentioned it to Lewis Roberts when we were on commentary. It's like, because we see it happen so many times over the years, and wherever in any sport, you put out the number one seed, and then your next match, it's like after the Lord Mayor's show, and it's a bit flat because you're elated. Oh, I've just knocked out the number one. I've won a match I didn't think I was going to. Hang on a minute, I could get to the final, and then all of a sudden it goes flat. But it didn't for Rob. He kept it going, and he potted some great balls.
I think it helped him that he had there was a big gap between beating Tom and then playing the next match. You could enjoy the high of that and then reset and go, okay, well, I'm in the quarterfinals. I've now got a tournament to go and win.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I said the last visit for Cormac Kerr was a really important one to get back going. I think even now it really is starting to ramp up. Needs to get out here, get to 4-2. If he doesn't clear up here, it's going to be 5-1. And you'd fear the worst for him.
That one wiped his feet. Well, he stopped the rot of 4 in a row by the looks of it.
Yeah, needed that. Can Dom find one that works now? No.
When he first hit into that front ball, then I thought that's going to be 2 balls there. It's just the way they suddenly, and the black was probably the closest.
Yeah. Look at his eyes dancing around the table, trying to find something, pleading with it, please.
Well, this is a real golden chance here for Cormac Kerr. You feel he's not been quite at the races here, but it takes these out, and he's back to within 1 of Cooney. Make sure he gets his cue ball far enough down the table. He doesn't want to be playing a thin cut with that yellow that's over the middle where the black will presumably be to go. Can't get me words out. First day with the new lips. But he's come far enough anyway.
Oh, I understood what you said, Tony. It was fine. He's landed okay.
That's normally after about 10 pints to start that nonsense. I'm drinking water.
That should be the frame as well, because once he landed on that one, as you say, straight enough to drop it in, then it's just 3 drop-in pots. Frustrating game, because I feel like Dom hasn't put a foot wrong yet, and I mean, he's sat there feeling like he's not getting a fair number of chances.
Yeah, the dry break flattened Dom Cooney. And Cormac Kerr, within a blink of an eye, he's got within 1.
Yeah, and has the next break as well. It's one of those that just feels like Dom's not quite getting the same number of chances, and whilst he's playing better, the higher the level goes.
Yeah.
As we see Sharon miss, but if you want to keep an eye on that one, it's table 2. If you want to watch that one, as we see Cormac have another opportunity. I feel like he's had every first visit in the match. He might have had all but 1, I think.
Well, yellow's at first glance looked like the best option, but I think the first ball's going to be the trickiest one to find.
Yeah, it doesn't have a great first ball.
Well, it doesn't have any ball on red, so it have to be a yellow. It's going to be that long.
Yeah, how good you feeling? Cue this in. It will feel like frame ball to him.
It'll be frame loser if he misses it.
Oh, which one's he? Is he cutting this back?
Oh, great shot.
maybe the easier pot, but there was a trickier cue ball. He wasn't guaranteed, but he's played it well, and now it's come out lovely.
Position the key. Wants a big cue ball off this bottom railing. Leave an angle for the yellow into the same corner. He's come a bit far, is he? Well, not far enough, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, should still be okay, but he just has to thread the needle, whereas he doesn't necessarily need to do it.
Yep, just drop in that little gap. Doesn't really need to be too close to the black ball as it's hanging over the pocket. Just needs to get the cue ball out of the way of these three reds. Not even going to bother with that. I'll just take it from there, which correct option really. And we're going to be level.
Yeah, 3 on the trot. 3 on the trot off the break as well for Cormac. It's desperate for a ball, just desperate. I think 4 dry he's had, or 1 in off. Finally.
Well, the immediate first glance is yellows for me. Got 1 into the centre to start with as we have a look at Dom Cooney's first successful break for a while. Of course, he'll just keep in position here. Just get rid of these 3 at the top. Yes. That's near the middle, that'll be his second to last ball, and obviously the one nearest to black, and just A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah, it's actually a really lovely layout, isn't it? Almost like a training drill exercise.
Yeah, if you Cormac Kerr, you're not expected to come and get out of your seat in this frame. Just landed a little bit straighter than he'd have liked on this yellow, and this is the shot now. The only thing that's remotely difficult, just get nice and straight onto this yellow. It's just on the bolt line. I like that a little bit straighter. You don't need to leave an angle. I mean, you can be straight on that second to last yellow into the middle, because you're guaranteed to have your little angle just to drop down for the black ball. And that'll be fine. So just drop this in. Depends what shot he prefers on the last yellow. Does he prefer just to dribble down onto the black, or does he want a little sort of punchy sort of drag stun? Or there's all sorts of different shot you can play together, actually, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. It was always going to be this way. He knew his final 3 shots before he'd hit his first ball.
Went for the drag.
Just for a second, thought he'd thrown it a little bit wide, but it falls in. A lovely breaking clearance from Dom Cooney to get himself back in front.
I just thought for a minute that Cormac was going to go dry and the worm turns, and all of a sudden Dom starts getting balls off the break. Cormac starts going dry.
You think over the balance of the match, you feel like that it's going to even itself out, that maybe the mistakes from Cormac at the beginning of the match will come back to bite him, but it isn't always the case. Interesting layout. A few options. Reds look the most likely. The yellow on the left-hand side, well guarded. All the reds sort of have pockets. But we'll need a nice shot going up the table, although there is plenty of room. That'll be at the back end of the finish.
Nicely dispatched down that rail.
Don't feel like he's going to... I don't know which one he's planning to leave for his transition up the table. It's not immediately obvious that he's going to be able to leave, guarantee himself a good angle.
Well, the ideal one you want would be the red that's next to the two yellows in the middle of the table, but you've got to be precisely to have the angle to run through up to the top.
Which means you've got to get from this one to the one on the left to again get low on the other one, which doesn't look likely.
Not now.
No.
Because you need to be right behind that dead straight to be able to screw it back, so... Can he take this red into the top corner? But then the cue ball's coming back into that yellow next to it, and you're not going to get that position. You're going to land low of it. You're not going to get the angle.
I just wonder, he had an opportunity first shot actually to track up for the red at the top of the table. I always saw the red and 8-ball being the last two balls. Now he's going to come down the table to play this one, which gives him a line, I guess. I just wonder whether getting rid of that red early at the top would have helped him out. But I never really saw it originally. I thought, no, it's perfect last two balls, but it could come back to hurt him.
This is tight. It was really tight. He sort of... It's a bit of a flailing arm there, that one as well, Simon.
It was almost as though he didn't quite fully know... He didn't have a pattern in his mind, really. That's what it looked like, that he thought, right, I'm going to clear these up, then I'm going to go up for that one, and couldn't quite figure out how to find an angle on the ball to do that.
Dom's just going to make sure he leaves his cue ball down at the bottom of the table. Not sure I like that shot so much.
He's just overhit it.
Yeah. I'd rather play one of these two yellows down at the bottom at the start again, just put the cue ball right at the bottom.
I suppose the benefit of playing the shot he did is he gets a yellow into the middle of the table, but he's significantly overhit the shot.
I don't think you could power that off the yellow and into this bottom left-hand corner. You need it to be a little bit further up, but you can cut it. He tried to power that one off the yellow. I didn't think it was far enough away. It wasn't far enough up.
Well, a little bit fortunate that he's got a yellow into a safe area, but also put a red into that area as well. So Tom's still in complete control of this frame. He may not go for a few visits yet, but he's certainly his frame to lose.
Yeah, and that was very lucky there of Cormac, because anywhere but where that yellow landed it's 6-4 to Cooney.
Yeah, Dom trying to figure out how does he gain an advantage. I mean, he's miles in front. He's got to try and figure out how is he going to open up the yellow at the top.
Now, if Cormac can get through this gap between yellow and black, he can actually put Cooney in a snooker here. Dom was trying to leave a full ball snooker and make Cormac come around the table at it, but tried to double kiss and get the cue ball just to squeeze behind the black. Now, has he left a little snick of this yellow for Dom to cut it across to the corner?
If not, I mean, Dom's going to want to try and play safe off that yellow to get it out into play.
Trouble is where those two reds are, because Cormac's just disturbed him. You might be able to play that very thin in a plant.
Yeah,
cut the plant in, so
he's got to be careful. Well, it can't be a plant, but it looks like it's makeable. Yeah, Cormac's immediately looking at it.
Yeah,
that looks makeable.
It does. Even if you've got to hit the red a bit thick. If you hit this thick and play this plant, the second red could come back and just bounce into the cue ball, and might stay there. Well, it did bounce to the cue ball. He played it at such a pace that it's coming all the way down the table, but he's got a double.
He'll take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's careless from Dom. I mean, he's been brilliant in this match. I think that's his. I'm going to mark that down as his first mistake. Really, he's got to. If that's on, and it obviously clearly was, he's got to make sure that's not possible. He's got to get the cue ball to the right-hand side of the table one way or another.
Cormac gets this. This is a steal.
Yeah, let off for Dom Cooney.
And this is the difference between your top 3 and 4 sort of players and some of the others. You know, if that's Tom Cousins being left that chance there, you feel that he was going to bury it or melling or,
yeah,
you know, you really do get punished. And Cormac has, like you said, let him off a tad there, but that was a bit careless from Dom. We're into the old 15 seconds of shot now. Not that these 3 balls are going to worry him at 15 seconds.
No, he won't really. It's quite a nice ease into the 15 seconds actually for Dom.
Yeah. And to be 2 frames in front as well.
Yeah, 2 frames in front he is with just under the 9 minutes to play in the match. Thought that was going to be another dry one, but does find a ball. And, well, needs an opening shot, but looks a good layout. He's done that pretty much on repeat the whole match, so the cue ball's coming off to the left-hand side. Most of the time it's middle of that side cushion, just a couple of times close to the top left-hand corner.
Well, he's immediately gone for the reds, which is the correct decision, and got a yellow now that's parked down at the bottom of the table. So if Cormac was going to get to the table again, it's not a very nice position, but this is Dom's chance. Long red into this bottom left-hand corner. He wants to get rid of all those balls at the bottom, and his last red will be the one that's nearest the black. If he gets that far through these balls, he's going to win the match.
Oh, he's in prime position here, and you have to say he's looked very good in the match in all aspects of the game. I'm marking him down as just that one safety error, really, that didn't cost him in the end when he left the plant on. But I think he's been fantastic throughout, barely missed a beat. He'll be a very worthy winner if he goes on and knocks in these final 3. Well, maybe he spoke a little bit too soon. A rush of blood there.
I think he's just got enough there. He can nick this in and come off the 2 cushions and back up for the black. Might even go off 3.
Yeah, nicely done. No problems in the end, just pulled up in time. Simple 8 ball then for the victory. And it is Dom Cooney that moves on to the semi-finals. It was a rematch of the quarter-final from Pro Series 1, but it is a reverse of the result. Dom Cooney knocks out Cormac Kerr. He moves on. He'll take on the whacker Rob Warne in the semi-finals a little bit later on.